working now.
It's working. Okay. So I can close it off?
Yes.
Okay, so my data set here is ready, as you can see from my screen, and I believe all of us, we've got a data set which is open and ready for use. So yesterday we discussed on how to check for missing values in the data set, and much of the emphasis was made on demographic and socio-economic characteristics. For such variables, you need to check for missing values. Once you realize that there are no missing values, then now you can proceed to do the data analysis. If there are missing values, we talked about it yesterday, you need to exclude such variables from the entire analysis. But now that for the data set that we have, we cleaned it yesterday, now we have to proceed with real business. Yes, Mr. Shamta. Yes. No, not a section. No, not every section. So yesterday I just focused more on the background, right? So even you, when you're doing a study, the only key variables for you to check for missing values are those that are falling under the background. Yeah. So for others, they can segment it. You've got a demographic and then you've got the socio-economic characteristics. Such questions are not linked to the objectives, but they just help you to build a profile about the people, or rather the population that you are dealing with, so that you understand that population better. Then from there, you move on now to the next session, now, which is now directly linked to the objectives that you have in your proposal. Are we together? So now here we now need to quickly move and start doing the actual analysis. So there is an option here which is analyze. Are you able to see analyze on your computer? So let's click on analyze. Then we go to descriptive statistics. Then frequencies. When we click on frequencies, it's bringing the dialog box, as you can see on my screen and as you can see on your screen. So this dialog box contains all the variables that we entered from the variables. Just like it came yesterday, we had something like this yesterday, right? So here now, we are starting with what we call univariate analysis. Univariate analysis is where we are targeting a single variable. Or what we want is to have a distribution of that particular variable. For instance, there was a question which was on sex. What's your sex? So when I perform the univariate analysis, it will just give me the distribution of the people that I'm dealing with, those that were male and those that were female. That's about the univariate analysis. Are we together? I can go on and perform a univariate analysis on marital status. It will just give me the distribution of those that were single, of those that were married, of those that were separated, of those that were widowed, and those that were divorced. To give me absolute numbers, and it also give me percentages. So that is called univariate analysis, because my target here, I'm only using a single variable. But by variate, we start now matching two things. For instance, where I want to measure, is there a relationship between education and income? Two things, right? But for this one, it's just one variable, and that's the reason why it is called univariate. So here, we can pick question 2, which is marital status. We want to have a frequency distribution for marital status. Then we can drag that variable from the left side to the right side by clicking on the arrow in the middle there. So when I click, yes, madam. Okay.
I'll open the same part, but put the answers in the text form.
So you can select question 2, which is marital status, then you can drag it from the left side to the right side by clicking on the arrow in the middle there. As you can see, for me, I've moved my variable from my left side to my right side. So it means I want to perform univariate analysis for that particular variable, which is marital status. I want to know how men were single, how men were divorced, and so on and so forth, So we can do the same. Then down there, just like we checked yesterday, that option which is display frequency tables, ensure that that option is ticked. Otherwise, if it's not ticked, then you'll not see the results in your output viewer window. If you've selected the variable, now we can click on OK.
In a case that shows saying that needs to perform this frequency.
Yes. So it doesn't matter whether you're having text or numbers, it will still give you the same results. And when clicking on analyze, it doesn't matter whether you are in the data view or you are in the variable view. Provided you've clicked on analyze, Spss is able to give you outputs. So for me, I'm having that table. Are we having the similar table? And as you can see, I'm not having any missing values because this question is coming under the background, right? So everything here is okay. I've got single. Those that were single, how many? 4, right? Then the proportion, or rather the percentage for them was 10%. Then married, 20%. Divorced, 50%. Separated, 7.5%. Widowed, 12.5%. And total is 100%. Are we together? So when you include the missing values, it means everything will not add up to 100%. It can only add up to 100% when you include the missing value. Ideally, the missing values should not be shown here that I had 30 people missing. No. Better you exclude it like we discussed yesterday. Are we together? So now, we want to copy this and paste in Excel so that we can do graphing from Excel. Like I said, in Excel, we've got autonomy over what we are doing. But in SPSS, it's auto-generated. If you say it's a pie chart, it's auto-generated for you. You cannot change it. But in Excel, you make it the way you want it to look. Yes, Mr. Shampta? Yes, I'm coming to that. We haven't yet done the interpretation for this table. What we've done, we've just done the data analysis. So what we've done here is what we call the data analysis. Now the interpretation, that's where now we start attaching meanings to these statistics that we have. And there's a language that we use in the research. So we can copy this table. You can place your cursor anywhere in this table. Have you noticed that there is a thinner layer coming outside, right? Then you can right click. Then you can copy. Then now you can navigate to Excel. So for me, I'm in my Excel spreadsheet already. So once I'm in my Excel, I want to paste what I've copied from SPSS. I'll right click on my computer. Then I'm having 2 options under pasting there. Are you having 2 options also? Then use the second option, this option. I'm avoiding to use the first option because when I paste using the first option, it will give me with border lines. Then for those of you that are not familiar with Excel, it might be a little bit difficult for you to remove the border lines. But for me, I'll just highlight everything, then go there and list no borders, and the border lines will disappear. Are we together? Okay. So now here, we'll start with a pie chart. We produce a pie chart, then we move on to the bar chart. Then from there, we can move on to the reader table. Then once we do the reader table, then we can now move on to interpretation. Once we are okay with the interpretation now, we can move on to chi-square, regression, and the like. So for the pie chart, you can only come up with a pie chart using percentages. Are we together? So for you to come up with a pie chart, it is recommended that you use percentages as opposed to using frequency. Have you seen in the table, we've got frequency, then we've got percent, then we've got varied percent, then we've got cumulative percent. Have you seen that? So here we want to produce a pie chart using percentages. Are we together? So have you seen what I've highlighted here? So I can do the same. Then you can say Control C, that's a shortcut for copying. Or if you want, you can use the traditional way of copying. You right click, then the copy option will come, right? Yes. So for me, I don't want to use the traditional way of copying. So we can paste that data like I've done there. Just increase my font a bit. Then we can do the same. We can copy the corresponding percent. So we can just copy everything from single up to widowed and then paste against the variables like that. Then the percentages will be populated. Yes. The frequency, yes. Exactly. The total, no? No.
Which one are we getting? Very good.
So we are getting percent.
Which percent are we getting?
There is frequency, then the next column is percent.
Okay.
Yes. So don't use varied percent because there are times where the varied percent is different from the percent here. So the actual percentages is what is coming in column percent. So there you copy the variables which are single, married, divorced, separated, widowed. Then you copy the corresponding percentages which are 10%, 20%, 50%, 7.5%, then 12.5%. Sorry? We are getting the first percent here. There is frequency, right? Then the next column to frequency is percent. So those are the percentages which we are supposed to get. Then after that percent, there is varied percent. Have you managed, sir? So in the table, there is frequency, right? That's the first column. You check in your table that you have, in your table. Yeah. There is frequency, right?
There is frequency where we are single, married, divorced.
No. So frequency, that's where there is 4, 8, 20, 3, 5. Have you seen where there is 4, 8, 20, 3, then 5? Exactly. Now the next column is percent, which has got 10%, 20%, 50%, 7.5. So we are getting the percentages in that column. Then the next to that there is varied percent. So sometimes the varied percent may not be equivalent to the percent. So that's why the actual percentages are supposed to be gotten from column percent. Those are the accurate percentages. Don't get the varied percent. Then cumulative frequency, just leave it. So for me, this is the data that I've extracted. So now we can highlight everything like I've done. Have you seen the way I've highlighted? I haven't included any empty cells there. I've just highlighted where I've put my data. If you highlight including empty cells, the pie chart will not come in Excel. It will just come blank. Are we together? So once you do that, then we can now go on insert. There is an option on top there. That should be the third option from the left top. Insert. Are you able to see where my cursor is here? So since I'm using Excel 2013, there is an extra option here which is recommended charts. Depending on the data that I've selected here, Excel is able to select for me whether it's a pie chart or a bar chart. So if I click on recommended charts, you've seen that the pie chart is coming automatically. So depending on the data that I've selected, the Excel is able to determine that this data can go into what? Into a pie chart. And moreover, the data that we have here, these are categorical variables. So pie charts are good for presenting categorical variables, and as well as bar charts are also good for presenting categorical variables. But for some of you who might be using, say, Excel 2007, 2010, that recommended option is not coming for you. But there should be something like this. Are you able to see this? Are you able to see it on your computer? So that's the pie chart. Click on that pie chart. Once you click on that pie chart, it's giving you options. There's 2D pie, there's 3D pie, and whatever, and so on and so forth, right? So for the sake of uniformity, I would decide we go for a 3D pie chart. Then you click on it. Are you able to see your pie chart coming? So for me, what I have here, I do not have the percentages coming, but I have got everything showing. I've got single, which is in blue. I've got married, which is in orange. I've got divorced. I don't know this color. Then I've got separated, which is yellow. Then widowed, which is, I don't know whether I'll say light blue or dark blue. I don't know. But I can't see the percentages there. So I have to add the percentages, so that someone should be able to see that those who were single, the percentage is this. Those who were married, the percentage is this. If I'm using Excel 2013 and above, right top, if you are using Excel 2013 and above, right top here is this plus sign. If I click on this plus sign, it will give me options. Then I've got where it is written data labels. Once I just click on data labels, I'm having percentages coming. But if I'm not using Excel 2013, I might be using maybe Excel 2003 if it still exists up to now. I'll just go in my pie, then right click. Once you right click, check until you find what is written add data labels. Are you able to see that option coming? Then click on add data labels. Once you click on add data labels, have you seen that the percentages have been populated in the pie chart, right? So it means our pie chart is now ready. We have now to export this pie chart from Excel into Word, because to be in Word, that a report will be done from Word, right? But here I've seen something on top there. What are you having on top of your pie? There's chart title. So the rule is that the title of the chart is not supposed to come inside the chart. Are we together? The rule is that the title of the chart is not supposed to come inside the chart itself. It's supposed to be outside. Are we together? So it means we have to delete that chart title there. So you can go on and delete the chart title there. So for me, I've deleted mine. Are we done? So now we can open Microsoft Word so that we can copy this and paste in Word. And whatever we are going to be pasting in Word, at the end of this lesson, you have to save, because we'll still go back to still come back to this chart and start doing the interpretation. Yes, sir. Okay. So I selected my data like this without including any empty cells, because if I include empty cells, then the pie chart will not be produced. Are we together? Then after that, I went on insert. Then I came here and I can see something that looks like a pie. Are you able to see this option? Then I clicked on that, then it gave me options. Then for the sake of uniformity, I suggested that we go for a 3D pie. Then I selected my 3D pie. And there is the 3D pie chart there. So now in the pie chart that I have, I can't see the percentages there. I have to show the percentages so that someone should be able to tell that 80% of the people that took part in this survey were divorced. Are we together? So I have to show the percentages. So to do that, you can just place your cursor anywhere in your pie chart like I've done there. Then you right click on your computer mouse. Once you right click, check until you find an option which is add data labels. Then you can select that option. Once you do that, you should be able to see the percentages coming. Is it done, sir? Wonderful. So now you can open your Microsoft Word now. So I've opened my Microsoft Word. So let's type data analysis in capital letters. Data analysis and interpretation. So I've typed data analysis and interpretation. So you can write 4.0, then we'll say introduction. Okay, I forgot something. So let's assume that this is chapter 4 in our report, right? So let's just assume that this is chapter 4. So let's type on top there, chapter 4. Chapter 4, then full colon, then you put data analysis and interpretation. Chapter 4, data analysis and interpretation. Then 4.0, introduction. It means I have to introduce this chapter. Have you seen the numbering there? I've put 4.0. So it means this subheading is falling under chapter 4. That's the meaning of 4 there. So you can again now type 4.1. You can now write background. Background characteristics of respondents. And under here, that's where now I'm going to put everything that falls under background characteristics of respondents. Are we together? So if I did two sections from my questionnaire, one demographic and the other one socioeconomic characteristics. So it means I could have put 4.1.1 like that. Then I could have put here demographic characteristics, right? Once I finish whatever I have under demographic, I'll put another one 4.1.2, then put socioeconomic characteristics. But for the data set which we are using, we only had everything consolidated under one roof, which was dubbed as the background information, right? So here we are not going to have demographic separate and socioeconomic separate. Everything is falling under one roof. So now, we can now paste the pie chart that we copied from Excel. We can paste that pie chart under background characteristics of respondents. So when you are here, just press Ctrl V. That's a shortcut for pasting. Did I even copy my pie chart to start with? I did not. We didn't, right? Okay, so we can now navigate back to Excel. So here my chart title is still appearing there. As I said, that the title of the pie chart is supposed to be outside, not inside. So I have to delete that chart title. Once I do that, now I can copy my pie chart and paste this pie chart in Word. So you see that there are two things there, right? There's this and there's this. So if you try to copy this, you will not be able to copy your pie chart. You need at least to place your cursor outside this, at least somewhere there. Then you can decide whether to use Ctrl-C as a modern way of copying, or you can still use the traditional way of copying, right? So once we copy, now we can come here and paste it under background characteristics of respondents. So pasting, just press Ctrl V at the same time, then you should be able to paste your pie chart. Have you pasted already, madam? Sorry? Ah. Have you pasted already, sir? Madam, have you pasted? Sir? That side? But for Excel, like for that pie chart, I'm sure the time I exported the data, I can also export the data. But for Spss, we will be sharing information. Our key is for us to get the concept. Even when you're alone, you can be able to do it. So are we okay with the pie chart? Are you able to see where I've clicked here? Are you able to see where my cursor is? So this is my pie chart. And when I click there, have you seen what is happening to my pie chart?
Yes.
Having should be 6 dots. Is it 6 dots? Not 6, 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Something coming. Like here, there's a dot here, there's a dot here, there's a dot here, there's a dot in the middle, there's a dot there, yes. Then right click.
The boundaries.
Yes, boundaries, yes. So then you right click. If you right click, you're having options coming, right? Are you able to see options? This option. For me, I've got fill, then there's outline. If you're using a lower version, like 2010, I'm sure what we are trying to do should come automatically. Then is what you have. So which version is this one?
And I come outside.
No, that's still inside. Then right click. So you should be inside. Once you are inside the pie chart, then you right click, then you should be able to see these two options under here. Fill, then there is outline. So then click on outline. So here we want to put more like a border outside, which should be in black. Have you seen what has happened to my pie chart here, right? I've added a layer outside my pie chart. So to do that, just like what I was trying to explain, you place your cursor inside the pie chart and you right click. Then under, you should be able to see these two options, fill, then outline. Then you click on outline. Once you click on outline, the colors are coming. So you can choose the color that you want. Mostly we use black. So for me, I selected black. Have you seen what is coming to my pie chart? So it means now my pie chart is complete. I can now start doing the interpretation. If you are using lower versions like 2007, I'm sure this should come automatically. Have we all managed to do that? It's very different.
It's not copy and close.
Then question, are we done with the pie chart?
How do you show percentages on those numbers?
Sorry?
How do you show percentages?
Like the percentages that I have in my pie?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the signs after the number.
The sign of a
The
percentage.
symbols. How do you have the symbols?
I don't understand maybe.
So this,
You just have figures
so
there.
when you go there,
We are 50, 125.
so up there they show us percent.
Now, if it's percentages, how do we add symbols?
Now the time of the contract.
Okay.
Then now, the difference is here, 7.5%. That sign of a
What is
percent.
here?
How do you get that sign?
Like this is for male, this is for female.
No. Where do we get this type of a sign? Because when you get this, it has a type of HDs which one you pick.
Okay.
Yes, so this one shows
The size.
the sign. The sign.
This is like percent.
The percent.
Oh, okay. I get you now what you mean. I was trying to see. So we can do it from the data set that we have here. You've seen Excel only give us what we've put in Excel. So just from the onset here, I can put percentages to the numbers that I have. And it will appear. So for me, if I want to put that sign of a percentage, I'll just put direct from here, I'll put percentages. And it means when I highlight these things and produce a pie chart, percentages will come. Yes. Then Mr. Shampta, you are saying, what were you saying, sir? In weight? Okay. I understand what Mr. Shampta, what has happened to my computer? My data has disappeared. What has happened? Okay, it's back. So what Mr. Shampta is saying that if I wanted to add the percent as a sign for this, right? I'll just double click, then my cursor will be popping inside. Then I can do the manual editing. Are we clear on how to produce a pie chart? So if we had the data set, then we wanted to produce a pie chart in the same manner we've done it, you can also be doing that, provided you want to produce a pie chart. But the rule for the pie chart is that you can only use percentages to come up with a pie chart. So it means if you had frequency numbers alone, then better you convert them into percentages. But depending on what you are trying to present on, you can maybe maintain them in frequency numbers, but the general rule or the standard way is for you to use percentages. Is that clear? More so, you can only go up to 8 slices. What I mean as slices, you see here, I've got this is slice 1, slice 2, slice 3, slice 4, slice 5. So I've got 5 slices in my pie chart. So I can only go up to 8 slices. Immediately I've got something which is having more than 8 slices, then I can't go for a pie chart. I have to change and maybe try a bar chart. Are we together? So now we can now move on. Yes, sir. You can ask, sir. This one? This one? So once my cursor is here, then just double click on your mouse. Yes. Oh my God, my things keeps on disappearing and coming back. If you want in Word, if you want in Excel, there's no problem.
If you write the pie chart in Word, and then you will see, as you scroll down, there is format data labels.
Okay.
And then there will come options where they will be value for sales, saving name, category name. Then you can either put percentage. It will put percentages.
To put percentages. So that's an alternative which we can use. So can I move away from the pie chart now? So it means we are done with the pie chart. This is how we come up with pie charts. Madam, are we okay this side? Sir, are we clear? Sir? Sorry, sir. This side, are we okay? Are we okay that side? Can we move on to the bar chart? Okay, so now we can now move on to the bar chart. So navigate back to your Excel now. Are we in Excel? For me, I can see, oh, my word has disappeared. Oh, good. Okay, I can maintain your word. So for me, my word has disappeared. I think my Excel is something wrong with my Microsoft suite. My word has just disappeared. So we are back now to Excel. So I can delete this pie chart. So I've deleted my pie chart. So if you want to delete your pie chart, just like you did when copying, you can place your cursor there. So it means you've selected everything. Then you can use the delete option on your keyboard. Or if you can just right click, then there should be a delete option somewhere. It's not there. So you can just use the delete option on your keyboard. So it's gone. We've gone back to the data we had earlier on, right? For the bar chart, you can produce a bar chart using percentages, or you can use a bar chart by combining both percentages and the frequencies. Are we together? You can produce a bar chart by using percentages alone, or you can produce a pie chart by combining both the frequency and the percentage. So we are going to do both. We are going to start with the percentages. Since we've got the percentages already, right? Then once you produce a bar chart, then now we come and add the frequency. So in the same manner we highlighted when coming up with a pie chart, we can as well highlight the data which we want to include in the bar chart. Once you highlight in that manner without including any empty cells, you can now click Insert, or you can select Insert. Once you select Insert, you can go where we had found the pie chart. But in this time around, we are not producing a pie chart, right? There's something on top there which is called column. Are you seeing your column? So the column there is equal to the bar chart. So the one that I've selected has got vertical bars, right? Then there is another one which has got horizontal bars. This one, these are horizontal bars. And it means if I produce my bar chart, the bars will be horizontal. But for uniformity, let's select the column which has got vertical bars. Then you can click on that column, just like it came for the pie chart, it is giving you options. So you select here, do you want to use the 2D? Do you want to use the 3D? So we are going to maintain the same 3D, right? So we can now select the first option, which is the 3D. So for me, I've got my bar chart. In the same manner, we can add the percentages, the data labels like we did. So if you want to add the data labels, you can just place your cursor on the end of the bars that you have there, then left click. Oh my. Okay. Once you place your cursor there, then you can left click. Then you see that all the bars are being clustered with some dots. Have you noticed that? So once all the bars are having those dots at once, it means if you add the data labels, the data labels will be populated for all the bars that you have. But if I continue clicking, like the one that I have, the dots are only coming to that bar. This bar here, have you seen where my cursor is? The tallest bar. So it means if I want to change the data label, it means the data label only apply to that specific bar. So if you wanted to apply it only to a single bar, then you can continue clicking. You can continue clicking and clicking until the dots are clustered to a single bar. Are we together? Even when changing colors, because here we need now to add the legend. So once we add the legend, we should be able to separate the colors. Because if we add the legend, when all the bars are having a uniform color, it will just give us series. You'll see when we add the legend. So if I wanted to change a color for that particular bar, which is my tallest bar there, I will continue on clicking and clicking and clicking until the dots are clustered to that single bar. Then it will mean that if I apply my color, the color won't apply to that bar. Are we together? But if my dots are coming to all the bars, then it means if I apply my color, the color will apply to all the bars. Are we together? So at this time, we want to add the data labels like we did for a pie chart. So I've selected that bar and the dots are clustered to all the bars. Then now I can right click. You see where my cursor is? Then I've left clicked on my computer mouse. Then now you can, once you see those dots coming, now you can right click, then add data labels. Then the labels will come like that. In the same manner, sir, if you wanted to see the percentages coming with that sign, then it means from the onset in Excel, you can include the percentages there. Or if I want, I can just do like this and go to where it is written percentages. Have you seen the way it is coming? But it's giving me 1000. Then it means I have to convert the 10.0 there is supposed to be 0.1. Then this is supposed to be 0.2. Then this one is supposed to be 0.075. 0.075, like this, right? 5, right?
No, not 7.
Not 7?
Yes, it's 0.05.
Oh, this one, yeah, you are right, sir, 0.5. Then this is 0.075, right? Then this is 0.0125, right? Then when I go there, I do like this, should be able to give me percentages. So I missed it here. I typed something wrong, right? You've seen, sir, right? So I can do it like that. It means even when I produce my bar chart, it will carry a percentage as a sign. Are we moving together? So for me, I've seen there are lines coming inside my bar chart there. Have you seen those lines?
Yes.
Personally, me, I've never liked those lines, so I always remove. So you can just double click on any of the line that you have there. So once you do that, are you again seeing the dots clustering those lines? Once those dots comes, then now you can use the delete option to delete those lines. So for me, my lines are gone. Then as well, for the chart title, even for the bar chart, the title is supposed to come outside. Are we together? So then I'm deleting that chart title. Just continue clicking, left clicking. No. Why is it coming? Okay, so here. The lines. So saying personally, I've never liked those lines coming inside my bar chart. So I always make sure that I remove my lines. So to do that, you can just place your cursor inside here, then you double click on your mouse. Once you double click on your mouse, the dots are coming to all the lines there. Then you can now use the delete option to get rid of the lines there. So it is gone now, right? Then the chart title, as usual, is supposed to come outside the pie chart, outside the bar chart. So we can delete that. So now we have to add the legend. Something unique when producing a bar chart is that you have to add the legend. Are we together? Then for those of you using versions lower than 2013, I've forgotten how we used to add the legend, but if you know, you can as well show me. Sure, I've forgotten. But if you are using higher versions, are you able to see this plus sign coming right top?
Yes.
If you are able to see that plus sign coming right top, then you can click on that sign. Then locate until you find what is written legend. Then click on legend. For me, I've clicked on my legend and I can see something coming which is giving me series, right? Ideally, it's supposed to give me single, married, divorced, separated, widowed. But at this point in time, Excel is unable to do that because all the bars are having a uniform color. So it means we now have to apply color changes to each bar. Are we together? Exactly. So just like we did when adding the labels, we continued clicking and clicking and clicking, right? So we just clicked once. So at this point, we want to apply specific colors to each specific bar. I mean per bar. So when I click on a bar, the dots will cluster all the bars. So if the dots are coming to all the bars, then it means if I apply the color will apply to all the bars. We don't want to do that. We want to put specific colors for each specific bar. Then we can continue clicking until the dots are only clustered in that particular bar where we want to apply the color. So for me, I've started with the tallest bar there. And I can see that the dots are only coming to that specific bar. Then it will mean the color will apply onto that specific bar. Are we together? So you can now click on home. Then are you able to see where my cursor is? Here, are you able to see this option? So which is a fill color, yes. Are you able to see the fill color? Madam, have you found it? Sir, have you found it? Have you managed? Okay, then you can click on fill color. We've got colors coming there, right? So it's up to us to decide which color do we want to use. Which one? Red. So have you seen that my legend has come now, right? So it means I have to continue and change the colors for all those bars that I have. I've finished already. Any question? Is everything clear? So have you seen how my bar chart is looking now? It's looking very nice. So it means I can now export this bar chart into Microsoft Word. But before we do that, are we able to see the percentages coming left top? Sorry, not left top, on my left side. I can see the percentages which are starting from 0 all the way up to 50%, right?
Yes.
So here, I can decide to maintain these numbers, or I can decide just to put away the percentage. Are we together? So if I decided to use the word percentages as opposed to maintaining these numbers, I'll go on my plus sign, which is coming right top of my Excel. Then I'll click Axis Titles. And now the challenge it will be for those using lower versions. I've forgotten how to add. Madam wants a refund. I can challenge in court that actually we've got even Microsoft 365, but Madam is still using 2003.
That's what I mean.
360, right? Wow, that's good. So once we add the axis titles, have we seen that the axis titles are coming left side and at the bottom, right?
Yes.
Then we can edit where it is written axis title and put the word percentage there. So me, I'm typing, I'm putting the word percentage. Then as usual, you can increase the font size. We know how to increase the font size, right? So I can even put it in Century. If you want, you can use Times New Roman. Then I can as well increase my font size. So have you seen? I've typed the word percentage there. I've just edited where it was written axis title. Then, if I've added the word, which is percentage, then it means I have to delete the numbers because I cannot use both at the same time. I have to decide whether I'm maintaining numbers, which is good, or I'm just typing the word percentage. Are we together? So for me, I've decided not to use the numbers, then I want to get rid of the percentages. So I'll just click on the percentages there, like I've done, then I'll click on delete option on my keyboard, then that would disappear. Are we together? Then at the bottom, I can still see axis title there. There, we don't have to type anything. Then it means I have to delete the axis title at the bottom.
So this one we cannot post, we cannot edit.
Sorry? So add the axis titles. Are you also using the version which is giving you a plus sign like this on top? Yes, so then click on it. Then select axis titles. So once you click on axis titles, on the left side and at the bottom, the axis title should come. Then you can just go to the axis title which is on your left side and edit what is written axis title and put and manually write the word percentage. Yes. Then that's it. So you can just increase the font size so that it becomes visible. How to delete the numbers? Oh, okay. Like this, right? So I've just clicked on the same numbers like this. Have you managed? Then you use the delete option on your keyboard. So it's gone, right? Then now let's copy and paste this in Word. And I said, please make sure that you save these things because we'll still use these things tomorrow to do the interpretation.
We have to access title.
At the bottom.
Yes.
So at the bottom, we've got axis title. So for me, I don't have anything that I want to type here. Then I can delete it. If you've got something, others they can type marital status because this variable is on marital status, right? Others they can type marital status, but for me, I don't want to type marital status, and it means I'll delete the axis title. So even for the font size, you've seen that these variables that I have under here, they are not that much visible, right? So you can just double click. Oh God, my Excel is misbehaving, so it wants to disappear now. So you can just double click on it, then you select that, then you can, as usual, increase the font size. Are we together? So I can quickly copy that and paste in Excel. I mean in Word. So if you are done, let's now navigate back to Excel. So we are done with one part. So let's quickly finish with now coming up with a bar chart which carries both frequency and the percentage, right? We are done for the percentages alone. Are we together? So if you wanted to produce any bar chart using percentages alone, we can do it in the same manner we've done it together. Any question on how to produce a bar chart? I'm moving slow so that all of us will understand, right? So you can now delete this pie chart this bar chart in Microsoft Excel. So we now want to include the frequencies. We are going to still maintain the data set that we have here. Have you seen where I've placed my cursor here? I want to add a column in between single and 10% there. So that's why I've placed my cursor here, or I can even place it there. Once you do that, then right click. This one, it will not come like this. So okay. So you can place your cursor here where you've got percentages on top here. Have you seen where my cursor is? So I've selected the entire column. So for me, this is column K. You might be having different column numbers depending on where you paste the data. Are we together? So I've clicked on column K, then right click on your mouse. Once you right click, then you go on insert, then you click on insert. You've seen that I've added an extra column in between, right? So here, that's where I want to put my frequencies. So frequencies, now I'll go to my original table or frequency table, which I exported from Spss, which is this here. Have you seen? Then I want to get my frequency, which are these numbers, right? Then I'll copy just like we did. Then I'll come and paste them in between there. So I've got my frequencies there. Have you seen? So I've just copied. This is the frequency and this is percent. Earlier on we picked the percent, right? But now here I said we want to produce a bar chart by combining both the frequency and the percent. So I've just copied the numbers which are falling under frequency. Have you seen where my cursor is? On top here, let's write the word frequency. So just type FREQ, then point, point, and that's frequency. Don't write frequency in full. Don't write frequency in full, just type freq. Have you seen? I've typed FREQ, then I've put a point there. So doing that, it means I've typed the word frequency. We don't write the entire word frequency in full. Are we together? Then the next column there, or the next cell, let's type percent, not percentage. Let's type percent. And as you can see me, I'm starting with capital letters, right? Percent. Don't write percentage, just write percent. Have you seen how my data is arranged here? So I've got this here which is empty there. Then I've got frequency there, then I've got percentage. Then I've got everything which is falling under percentage, then I've got everything. I've got absolute numbers falling under frequency. Then I've got the variables which are single, married, divorced, separated, and widowed. So now we can highlight everything now.
Including the space?
Yes, because in this case, you cannot highlight without highlighting this empty space because there's frequency there and percent on top. Have we all highlighted? Then we can go to insert and click the bar chart. Insert. Then I've clicked the vertical bar chart. Then as usual, for uniformity sake, we are going to use the 3D.
first one.
3D. So I'm having that bar chart. Have you seen what happens when you include both the frequency and the percent? So here, you don't have to add the legend. The legend is now the frequency and the percent. Have you seen I've gone there and my legend is already ticked? End question, is everything okay? So in the same manner, we can now try to do a little bit of formatting so that we can make our bar chart look nice. So I'll delete my chart title as usual, then I'll delete the lines inside. Then if I want, I can increase the font size. Oh, my Excel, what's happened to my Excel? Then here we can now maintain, we can just maintain the numbers as they come, because if we put percentages here, remember that we've got two things, frequency and percentage. So if we put percentage as a word there, it will distort what we have here. Because I've combined both the frequency and the percentage. So these numbers that are here, they are representing percentages, and at the same time they're representing frequency numbers. Are we together? So if you put percentage here, then it's deviating from what we have here. So as usual, you can go on to add your data labels. You have to show the labels there. I should be able to see when I check single. I should be able to find the correct number of those that were single, both in absolute numbers and in percentage form. Once we add the data labels, so I've added for the percentages there, then I'll go on to select the frequencies. I'll just click on N of the bars, then add the data labels for the frequencies. And it is done. So now you can copy this and paste in your Microsoft Word. Control C. So in case you are failing to copy, have you seen that there are two things there, right? Are you able to see on my screen? There are two things here. So if I place my cursor inside there, then it means I'm trying to copy what is inside here, which is not possible. I have at least to place my cursor there, and it means I'm copying the entire bar chart. Is that clear? Then once you copy, you can now paste that in your Microsoft Word. And say Control V. And it is done. So you can go on it to add we added, there is not a background color. What was that? We added what was that? I've forgotten what was that.
The lines.
Yes, we added the border lines outside, right? So you can go on to add. Don't just leave the bar chart like this. So at least you need to add something. I've added mine already there. So I've added to what is inside, but I don't want to add it to that one. I want to add it to the entire bar chart. So I've added mine. End question on how to produce the pie chart, or how to produce the bar graph. Is everything okay? Okay, let's navigate back to SPSS quickly. Yes, right click. Then go to outline. Then choose, select the color you want. Select. Navigate to your. So it means you selected what is inside and not outside there. Have we navigated back to SPSS? Then let's click on Analyze as usual. So the Analyze should become like a baby to us now. Then Descriptive Statistics. then frequencies, then we've got marital status already selected, right? Then let's click on charts. Let's say we want to produce a pie chart, right? So click on a pie chart, then click on continue. Then just click on continue. If you selected the pie chart, then click on OK. So that's my pie chart in SPSS.
We go in data view, then analyze.
Analyze. Then descriptive statistics, then frequencies. Yes. Then click on the charts because the marital status is already selected. You selected it. Charts, then select a pie chart, then click on continue, then OK. So the analyze option should now be part of us because in everything, for us to have results, we have to click on analyze. Everything that we want comes by clicking on analyze. So this is a pie chart that I have. So if you like this pie chart, you can copy this in the same manner we did to copy the table. You can just place the cursor anywhere there, then you copy this table and paste in Word. Yes, sir.
So where do I come
No, for the colors doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, provided you have the pie chart. What's key is having the pie chart. You might have different colors. That is not a problem, provided the pie chart is here with slices like I have. So as usual, if you want, you can reduce the size of this pie chart. So if you like the one which is coming in SPSS, then you can produce direct from SPSS. But the only challenge is that here you don't have that much autonomy. But for Excel, you make it the way you want it to look. Any question? Mr. Emmanuel, how can I close the video here now? Because I'm done. I want to close. Start and stop. Okay. Then stop recording, right?